Okay. Hey guys, welcome to Tuesday's Leadership Zoom. As you guys know, today is also payday. Today we have Amber Manquist on as our guest. And I'm super excited because Amber is one of my uplines that I have had the privilege of learning for almost 6 years now, which seems absolutely crazy to even think that it's been almost 6 years. It'll be 6 years in January. So it's absolutely amazing. And it is an absolute honor to get to host these calls and hopefully be able to bring you guys a ton of different leaders and stories and testimonies going forward. You guys, everybody comes from a different background. And those that don't know, I am from West Virginia. And literally, I've been part of the LEL, like I said, 6 years now. And it's been absolutely a crazy ride, one that I am so thankful for. And Amber has guided so many of us along the way. So Amber, I am excited. So why don't you start off letting everybody know, obviously I kind of told them who you are already, but how did you get started thriving? What was your background and kind of go from there?
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so I'm probably gonna need you to just let me know that you hear me good if I disappear, because we are traveling. For those of you that don't know, my youngest son, who's actually almost 17, which is weird. My youngest son races motocross. We go to Florida every year. There's national races over Thanksgiving week. And so we are on our way out. And if you see me like bobbing and weaving and sliding, it's how it is in RV life. So anyway, yes, when I started this journey, I was not yet 40. I was tired, exhausted, worn out, stressed out mom. I was a hairdresser, so I was a booth renter, so I was an entrepreneur, independent salon. But what I did, because when my husband and I started this, started our life together, actually, we had said we were broke, and two, we didn't want other people raising our babies. And so we did whatever that took to make that happen. And part of that was I would work 3 days a week, but those 3 days I would work like 10 to 12-hour days to get everybody in and to work, get as much as possible. So being a hairdresser, your feet hurt, your back hurts, your shoulder hurts, your brain hurts, everything. And I was just done by the time I got home. And when I say done, like I was like, I love my husband. I love my children. I didn't want anything to do with them when I walked in the door. Like I was so like, yeah, it's Tuesday, it's Thursday, it's salon day. That means I'm off the clock at home. Like what? That doesn't even make sense as a mom, right? When you look back, like what? How you're not off the clock as a mom. You come home, you want to be with your kids. So at a point in my life, I thought something was wrong with me. I was like, I don't want to be around my kids. I don't want to be around my husband. It's me. There's something wrong with me. And I basically spent about 5 of the 7 nights of the week crying in my closet. And this is part of the story that I kind of forget to share because it's so hard to go back there. I was defeated in every aspect of my life. The only time that I felt good about myself was when I could get myself out the door and get to the salon. For whatever reason, while I was busy, while I was at work, I felt like me. But then I would come home and I would immediately feel defeated again. And when Thrive found me, thank goodness for Maria Dillard and the fact that she didn't take no for an answer. Because when she first reached out, and guys, I say this all the time, when she first reached out, we were just acquaintances. Like we knew each other on Facebook. We've met in person a couple times, but for the most part, we were just Facebook friends. Okay. So she sent me a message. Hey, I want to share something with you. Do you have time to talk later? I thought she sent it to the wrong person. I was like, hey, are you sure you meant to send this to me? But she was like, I just want to run something by you. Do you have 5 minutes? Well, it was in November. It was around this same time frame. And that's when everything gets busy at the salon, from basically the beginning of November through Christmas Eve, like it's busy. And so I was like, well, I can call you on my way home from the salon. And she said, well, when will that be? And I'm like, it'll probably be like 9 o'clock tonight. So anyway, we did have that conversation. I was exhausted. It was late at night. I was on my way home. And I just remember her being like, she was so happy. She was so excited to share something that had truly helped her. I think she'd been thriving for about a month at that point. And I didn't want anything to do with that. Like, I was tired. I just wanted to get home. But she did ask, I told her no thanks. But she immediately followed with, I completely understand, girl, but will you do me a favor? Will you create a free account? Because when you change your mind, I want you thriving with me. Guys, if you've not heard us say that before, write that down right now. I completely understand, but will you do me a favor? Will you create a free account? Because when you change your mind, I want you thriving with me. So I was like, sure, fine, whatever. So she sent me the link. I got home, created the free account, created a promoter account, didn't even know what I was doing, created a free account, moved on with my life. She followed up, sent me the Facebook fan page link, right? The Lavelle Facebook link. Hey, check these stories out. I think you might relate to some of them. Okay, sure, whatever. So like the page, check it out, move along with my life. And she would just update me every so often. And guys, if people don't respond to your messages, it does not mean they hate you. It means they don't know what to say. Because when I didn't respond to her, it was simply because my answer was no, but I didn't want to say no because I didn't want to be rude. But at the same time, I didn't know what to say, so I just didn't respond. Like, I wasn't trying to be rude. I just didn't answer because I was like, I don't know how to answer that. So I just moved on past her message, right? Well, then she would still follow up with me. She would let me know when there was a special. And one of my answers, I remember one time, one of my answers was, I'm so sorry I haven't checked this out yet. Like, I was like, I'm so sorry I haven't checked this out yet. I've just been so busy with all the boys racing and stuff. You know what Maria said? As a human, she said, oh, no worries. I understand. What kind of racing do they do? She cared about me. She gave a crap about what I was doing. Why was I so busy? Why was I so tired? Why was I so stressed? Like, the relationship, guys, creating the relationship and being a human. Be a human. Um, Last year, and I'm kind of jumping around, but last year I had another person from another company contact me, on my birthday, happy birthday, all the things, right? But she did not read my message back to her because my son had just had major surgery, and she did not read my message. I said, yeah, it's a crazy birthday. I'm just waiting on my husband and son to get home from Lubbock. He just had massive surgery. I'm a wreck. Oh, I understand. Hey, so which options of my samples would you like me to send you?
I'm
I told
so
you.
This is such a good story. You guys, listen, what she's telling right now is a very big learning lesson. Okay. Because that made the difference in the way the person responded. Right. And it wasn't that Amber shut the girl down. It wasn't that Amber, I mean, obviously Amber's, that doesn't mean she's not going to try somebody else's products. Okay. But the person just totally dismissed anything that she had going on in her life. And that's why I always tell people, before you even message someone, I always say, take a look at their timeline, see what's going on in their life. Because had they looked at her timeline, I guarantee they probably would have already known, because I know Amber posted about that, a lot of this stuff.
Well, and honestly, Amanda, even if she hadn't looked at my timeline, if she had read my response to her, like she didn't even read it. She just skipped past it and, okay, well, which of my this would you rather do? Well, none of it now. Thanks. Like, like I was in a rough space then. And so just remember that, right? Like, every time Maria messaged me, there was a relationship, something going on there. And I will say, so when I did start thriving, so I'll back to that now. When I did start thriving, I did not want anything to do with the business, y'all. We were so freaking busy in our lives. I was like, no way can I run a business. Are you freaking kidding me? But what happened was, because I had accidentally signed up as a promoter when I ordered, I was promoter. So my account went active, and Maria's like, hey, there's some fast start bonuses there. I was like, oh, okay, sure. But then I got curious. I'm like, wait, we're broke. Well, tell me a little bit about these bonuses. So that was, and at that time was VIP 800. So now you've got VIP 400, 800. And I remember her saying, cause I was like, well, how easy is that to achieve? And she's so, y'all, she hasn't changed at all. She's still like the same easy, simple, bubbly, straight to the point. Right. She was like, oh girl, you just need 4 friends thriving with you. And I was like, I can get 4 friends, that mentality. So now you've got VIP 400. You're like, oh, what do I got to do to hit VIP 400? Girl, you just need 2 friends thriving with you. Like, come on, y'all. Have the belief and the confidence in them. You just need 2 friends. And I remember she's like, we get paid on Tuesday. And it was like Saturday. And I was like, well, yeah, like I'm going to get any orders tomorrow. She's like, of course you will. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think that's important though. People need to believe that they can achieve it. And we talked about that a little bit last night on our Zoom, is that you have to claim it. And, when I got started, it was it's very similar. And to be honest, you guys, I had said some not so nice things about Lavelle in the past. And a lot of my coworkers, because I was a nurse, actually had been previous thrivers. And I wasn't a fan. In fact, somebody had sent me a sample randomly. I never created a free account or anything, and I got a free sample, and I had yelled at the person on Facebook. Boy, the growth that you get after many years. That was probably like 8 years ago or something. Funny, that person that sent me that, whoever it was back then, I kind of giggled because I'm like, oh man, what if they actually would have approached me in a different manner? And I would have been on their team now. Right. But, here's the story. I was tired too, and I was exhausted. I had no interest of hearing, Jamie Pekka out at all. But she got me on a 3-way chat. And when I was in a really bad financial space and I had just gone back to work, my dad had passed away. I was working exhausted too, and you guys, that is just literally the trust, the know, and trust, know, and trust factor, right? It's always going to come into play. So anytime that you're trying to get to know somebody on social media through Messenger, doesn't matter the platform, I promise you, the know, and trust factor is key. They have to trust you. And I can tell you that I know, and trust Jamie, because her and I had been sidelines in our previous business, and we had always ran. So for me, I didn't want to try the product, but they talked about sleeping better. They talked about feeling better. They talked about having more energy. And I needed all of that because, Amber, I was on my feet and I was working nonstop. So, you know what? I said, fine, I'll give it a try. And I guess I'll try a sample. So I started with a sample. And then I found out about the bonuses. I found out about the website being free. I found out about thriving for free. And I was like, holy crap. If this actually works, I'm telling everyone. And then I told Jamie, I said, beat you to the top. And we did. That's how I got started. And it was literally seemed very similar, it's like, oh, wait, you've got all this energy. And I kind of wanted what she had, just like Amber driving home from work, exhausted from her shift, hearing Maria being excited, and then just following up with her as a human being. And then it being that relatability factor of, wait a second, you can make bonuses. And I think sometimes people don't even let people know that they can make those bonuses and make them. I want to say this, make sure that they understand that they can achieve them and that they are obtainable. Right. So anyways, I mean to cut you off there, but I wanted to throw that in because I think so many people don't think about that factor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that that's a key reminder is that you don't have to come from a network marketing MLM background. I did not. I had purchased distributorships and different things to get the discount and wholesale price and all that stuff in the past, but really never made the business side work or even really went after it. But this was just different. So when I ordered, I immediately started sharing because, hey, I wanted people to do it with me. And I wanted to jump on and see if I could get those 4 friends thriving with me, right? What I love is that you can, with 2 customers, you can get it for free. And that was the original goal for me. Even if I didn't hit that money bonus, it was, hey, if this stuff works, I can't afford it every month. I need to get it for free. And I think you've got to remember that with your people, like really help them get it for free. And so for me, I will tell you this, do not discount anybody out. And this is for you new people. This is for you been around here forever people. We do this to ourselves. Our mind is a horrible thing sometimes, right? We immediately discount certain people, cross certain people off. Oh, they're not going to come to my party. They don't want to hang out with me. They're not going to want to buy from me, all that, right? Do not tell yourself, I can't share with them. I know they can't afford it. They need to feel better. You give them the option to say yes or no. Because honestly, I look back, why I shared with my mom, I have no idea. Because she couldn't afford it. But I did reach out and I did share with her because I knew she needed the product. I knew she needed to feel better. And so I just shared. I didn't know what I was sharing. I just said, hey, I just ordered this thing called Thrive. You should do it with me. She's like, what is it? It's vitamins. So it's supposed to help you feel better. It's supposed to help with issues. You got issues. And she's like, okay. So she ordered as my first customer. Guys, she's been a customer since I started. So like she loves her Thrive. She figured out a way to pay for it. So like that's the thing. Don't ever discount anybody out. And don't ever think, well, so-and-so won't do this business because they have plenty of money. You don't know their life. You don't know their credit cards. You don't know. So always give the opportunity to them, right? Give the opportunity of, hey, here's what I have. Here's how good I feel. And here's how you can order. You can order as a customer or you can order as a promoter and get paid every Tuesday. What would you like to do? Like that simple. You put it in their court. They can decide. They can change their mind. They can do, and in that way, it's not, oh, well, so-and-so pushed me this way or so-and-so pushed me that way. No, you tell them, yes, have that confidence, Chas. You tell them their options, lay it out on the table. What would you like? Which works for you right now, right? I love that on that Zoom last night with Jason, how Lindsay and Beth, it was Beth or no Blair, Lindsay and Blair both said that, right? They're like, here's what we have in the form when you're talking to promoters, right? People that want to promote. Here's your options. We have 3 packages you can get started with. Here's the best deal. Here's what I would do. Here's what you can do if you just want personal consumption. Like just real short and simple. You do not have to explain every single thing. You just have to tell them what the options are, which one works for you right now. Like that's
Well,
it.
and I
Which
think
one works for you right now?
you can also do that with customers. And Lindsay even mentioned that last night. It's like everything is customizable, and you list off some objections that people are going to have. Not having the money, not having, knowing the people because of their background, right? And a lot of people about knowing the time, right? Because a lot of people probably would have assumed for me when I joined my first network marketing company, which was a decade ago, that I was working 2 jobs as an RN. I was dying to see my kids. I was dying to spend time with my kids. And I was literally going opposite of my ex-husband at that time. And people thought I was just too busy. I mean, I was taking classes. I was always at all my kids' games. I was always volunteering in the classrooms, but yet I was always working at night, and I would show up at the games in my scrubs. And that was, gosh, it almost makes me want to cry to think about, but I was dying to actually see my kids. And my mom actually shared with me. And my mom wasn't even like a customer promoter in my first company. And it changed my life. So anyways, I
Oh, I
think it's
love that.
important to talk about, um,
Yeah.
yeah, it did. It made me emotional thinking about that.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Okay, look at my shirt. Can you see my shirt? It says remember your why. And I think that's the thing. I mean, is we all have to remember that. Sometimes for me, it's hard to go back to that space simply because I hated who I was in that space and time in my life. Um, but we have to remember that we have to go back to where we were, how we started, what was our why were we finding 30 seconds here to send this message, 5 minutes here to do this, like why were we doing the things we were doing? And I'll tell you, so moving forward in that first couple weeks of thriving, y'all, like when I say it changed my life, I'm not kidding. It changed my freaking life. I was a different person. I was the me that I was meant to be as a mom, as a wife. Like, I was dancing in the kitchen. I was baking them cakes again, and all the things that I used to enjoy that at one point in my life brought me, ugh, like I don't even know the word for it. But when I was getting home from a 10-hour day and actually wanting to be with my family, helping clean the kitchen, watching TV together, doing the things back to who and the mom I was before, like that was when I knew, like, I'm like, this stuff works. Like, I don't know how vitamins have made me a happier person, but holy cow, like I'm not stopping. And when people ask me all the time, they're like, well, how are you successful with Thrive? What would you attribute to your success? I have not shut up about something that truly changed my life. Like, that's it. End of story. I haven't shut up about it. Like, I'm still talking about what changed my life like I was the day it changed my life. So that's the key right there. People are like, yeah, I feel that way, but no buts. Yeah, I feel that way. But my neighbor said, I don't care what your neighbor said. How do you feel? Like, how do you feel? That's where you go with this. You go like somebody is trying to steal your thrive from you, and they're telling you you can't take it tomorrow. Well, listen, I'm gonna fight you to the curb, to the death. Like, give me my thrive and get out of my way. Like, I'm serious. So I know all y'all are laughing, and I'm trying to be for real and serious, and it's coming across hilarious, but like that's the thing. And I know Katie Munch said, I think it's Moons, I always say it wrong. Katie said last week on the business side, if somebody took your child, if somebody took your 4-year-old, your baby, and said, and your goal was to hit the next rank, right? And they took your kid and said, okay, you can't have your kid back until you hit the next rank. You would go do that. You would figure out a way, you would share Thrive, you would hit the next rank, you would hit your goals in your business because you want your kid back. And she said, I work this business every day like somebody's trying to take it away from me. And you know what? That is it right there. I work this business every day. I talk about Thrive every day like somebody's trying to take my Thrive. Like that, like you cannot have my Thrive. I will hurt you. Okay. So moving forward past that, guys, here's the thing. When you're passionate about something, and if you're not that passionate about Thrive, I'm going to tell you, go do the detox. Go do the detox, get whatever is holding you back out of your body, and start your Thrive. Because day 11 is my favorite day of detox. Starting my Thrive all over again is the best day. And I'm going to tell you this too on detox. I mean, I get off on rants. I'm sorry. But on detox, guys, it is not a crash diet. It is not a, I'm going to do this for 10 days. And then on day 11, when I get to have my Thrive back, I'm going to go eat all the cupcakes. No, like what it's doing is removing things from your body that cause you to create or crave the bad things for your body, right? So when you remove these things and those cravings change, you then can eat healthier, feel better, be healthier for longer, right? And you get your Thrive back in your body and you continue with those things. I'm living proof of that this last year. Like my husband as well. Together, we've lost well over 50 pounds just because thanks, just because we have focused on, hey, what we were eating during the detox was good for our body. What we noticed that we don't crave anymore was bad for our body. When we slowly reintroduced things, my body didn't like that. So listen to your body when you're reintroducing things after Thrive. You can tell if you're feeling headaches a day or so later, if your stomach feels like, man, that steak I ate is just sitting like a rock from like 2 days ago. Like that is telling you your body is not processing certain things well. And now what you can do is eat healthier for yourself and go back to that. So anyway,
I
that's a
think that's
completely different topic.
no. I'm actually glad that you went there because I was going to say, okay, when we all get started and we first start thriving and we're actually taking the products correctly. Now, I have many stories on my team with people that I know Jackie had started taking it and she like quit taking it for like 10 months. And then, she's one of my biggest leaders now, you guys. And she had taken like signed up and then didn't take it and then boom, took it, and she didn't hit like the VIPs or anything. And she has an incredible story. But for you, what do you tell somebody aside from doing the detox? We have that now. For the longest time, I know we told people, you know what, take a couple days and don't thrive, and then you'll remember why you started thriving to begin with. But what do you normally tell people? The same.
Yes. Okay. Oh, like somebody that says they're not feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in third party validation, connecting. So make sure you're connecting people as well for troubleshooting. I will tell you. So I'm in a three-way chat with, and they're my two customers, but the girl is, she used to be she used to help with the kids, and now she's like our house sitter and stuff like that. Well, her and her mom started thriving. So she and her mom and I are in a text thread chat together, right? It's so funny. Taylor is loving her Thrive. She's a kindergarten teacher. She's like, "Woo, I can handle these kids better." She's like, I'm not drinking coffee and Monsters. This is so weird. Like I lived on it all day long to get me through with these crazy kindergartners, all the things. And her mom was like, "Yeah, I'm not really noticing anything." And so I start asking questions, right? Like I'm like, "Well, have you this or have you that?" And the daughter jumps in. She goes, "Mom, didn't you say you lost like 11 pounds already?" And she's like, "Well, yeah." And she's like, "Well, duh." Like, but for whatever reason, the mom was just in this, "Well, I'm not feeling a burst of energy, or I'm not this, so I'm not noticing anything." So she's like, "Mom." So, but again, that is that third party validation connection, depending, however it needs to be. Because I even had somebody put me in a chat the other day, and the girl was like, I'm like, "Okay, well, let's talk about, your eating or this or that." Cause she was talking about feeling nauseous, something. And she's like, "Well, I mean, sometimes I'll grab a Pop-Tart." So,
I think
and
I am so glad you're talking about this. Okay. Cause listen, guys, I anybody that like sees me, like, okay, so I was over 300 pounds when I started thriving, and I've lost 130 something pounds. Okay. Now I had surgery, what, like, I don't know, 4 years ago or something. And I got to tell you, it was something I learned through that whole process, and this healing process is like literally what we fuel our bodies. We're either going to work with our system or we're going to work against our bodies. We're going to either work with Thrive or we're going to work against Thrive. And for me, I was literally working against Thrive every day the day I started thriving. So like, yes, I had the energy. Yes, I had the excitement and wanting to share it, but I was like literally treating my body like crap by what I was feeding it, right? And it wasn't until actually having to go through my period of time, and I've heard a couple of people say they went through surgery and didn't have their Thrive, and I couldn't thrive when I first came out. And literally it was like awakening because I had cut back on like sugars and stuff, and I'm not a big one on diet culture by any means. However, I am a big one on fueling your body with what makes it feel good. So like I don't eat like a lot of fried foods or anything like that anymore. And I don't eat a lot. I don't eliminate a lot of stuff, but I eat very small quantities and I just choose, like, if something doesn't make me feel good, I don't eat it. In the same way with your Thrive results, you're going to have people that aren't feeling the energy right away, that aren't feeling this right away. Talk to them, like Amber is explaining here, because it really does. It makes such a difference of what they're going to expect. And I'm sorry, I'm going to go blow my nose, Amber, so I'm going to let you talk. I woke
But
up sick this morning, so I'm like,
it's
ah.
it's all a weather change. All right. So yeah, but you have to listen to them, find out what their goals are. One thing that Chastity said, I don't know why I've never heard her say this, or maybe she switched how she said it, but when we went to Ohio together to the Thrive Live chain, whatever that's called, where the corporate is going and doing all the Thrive trainings. Um, she and I went, and one thing I heard her say was, what I heard you say was, okay. So I'm just gonna pick Susan because she's the first face I see right here. And she's one of my favorites. Okay, so when Susan, I reach out to her, right, and she's like, no girl, I don't need that right now. I'm good, blah blah blah, whatever. But then in that conversation later, she's saying how, oh my gosh, I have headaches all the time. I don't know why I have these headaches all the time, da 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 da, whatever. And guess what? When we're talking next time, I can say, what I heard you say was, you wish there was a way to get rid of your headaches. What I heard you say was, you wish there was a way you could stop craving nachos all the time. Like, like that's something when people say, oh, and flipping it, what I heard you say was, you're not sleeping at night. What I heard you say was, you're super stressed out when your kid's on the racetrack. Like those things, like and even if it's not Thrive, you have a lead in. If they're not sleeping well, if they're stressed out, we have chill. Like there are things, so you can just say, well, what I heard you say, because they're like, well, I don't need Thrive. Well, what I heard you say was, and you remind them they needed more energy. I instead of just, I got what you need, like you're saying, I got what you need, but you're letting them know they already told you that they need that. And I felt like that was pretty much genius. And I've been saying it now ever since then. And that was just a few weeks ago. But
We can
it
tell that you're
also,
super you can tell that you're super excited about the product, right? So that you guys, that's a key factor in sharing the Thrive experience.
yes.
Um, I don't want to cut you off by any means, but I definitely want you to talk about, the process of building your business and some of the setbacks that you had, some of the struggles that you had along that path, because I think people need to
Absolutely.
hear it.
Yes. Okay. So when I started this, like I said, I ran right out of the gates, like because I had found the best thing since sliced bread, right? Like I knew this was gold. I knew that people needed it in their body. I wasn't necessarily running, oh, you can make so much money. Like, no, I was running, oh my gosh, you need this in your body. Like you need this, you need this, you need this. Like that's literally how I was running. And so then it was the option part, right? You need this in your body, first thing. Second, how do you want to start? Customer promoter. You can either just take it and feel amazing like me, or you can take it and share it and get paid on Tuesdays. Okay, so that was it. It was that simple. And just run, 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 run. Chastity, I was not quite 30 days in the business, and she had made a post. Y'all, we had gone to high school 10 years ago together, middle school, high school, all the things. I might have helped her run away once, but anyway, so in that, I reached out to her simply because she made a post. She made a post asking because she was just exhausted no matter what she did. She was eating healthy, all the things, right? And so I just messaged her. I wasn't like, OMG, you need this, but I did just message her and say, hey, I saw your post. I saw that you said you're super tired. I don't know if you've seen my crazy Thrive post, LOL, but of course now we have voice memo, right? But I was like, but I feel really good. I have energy all day long, and I'm actually happy at the end of the day. First, she was like, I don't want your business. And then second, hey, but I might try your product. Okay, so you just never know, right? But it was that, all right, I might try your product. And then we just talked and we had a conversation. And from that, then the product, then she was like, holy crap, I know something when I see it, and this, we need to do this. And so she ran out of the gates, and she had a network, and she like surpassed me. Like she's just taking off running like a gazelle past a turtle. I was like, dang, I gotta get faster. So that encouraged me. Y'all, I know there are people on here that have a red leg. And some of you may not know what that means, and that's okay. But basically, it meant that she was growing her business a heck of a lot faster than I was, and I was actually growing my business pretty fast. And so I watched what she was doing. I learned from her. So not only was I learning from Maria and learning from corporate leaders that were being placed on calls and all of that, because we didn't have Zooms back then, right? But I was learning from Chastity. I was like, well, whatever she's doing is working. So I was learning from her. And
I'm
I
so
will
glad
tell
that
you,
you didn't allow that to like intimidate you. Because for
yeah.
those of you guys that don't know, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let Amber tell you. How long? How long? Okay, you messaged Chas within the first 30 days of your business. I want you to tell them how long it took Chastity to hit 200K.
So it took her 30 days. It was less than 30 days to hit 200K. So here's what was really funny is she hit her 4K before I did, because she hit it in 2 days. And I was like, dang, I'm like, I'm this close to my 4K. And then she went to, I was like, dang, like this is, and I was excited. Because here's the thing, I'm never an ill-minded person to anybody ever. I'm just not that way. Like and the one of the phrases that I literally hate, and I don't even like the word hate, but one of the phrases that I literally hate is, must be nice. Must be nice. Must be nice to go to Disney World with your family. It must be nice to have success. Must be nice. Well, yeah, it is. It's very nice. And I worked really flipping hard for it. But I've just never said that, right? Like, even when we couldn't afford things in life and my friends were going to Disney and people were doing things that I wanted to do, I was just proud for them. Like, I was excited for them. I set goals for myself. Like, one day we going to Disney, like those kind of things. I never thought, let's be nice. Like, I don't know. I don't understand that mentality. I just never have. I feel like it's this like jealousy phrase when it comes out. I don't like it. And so I've just never been that way. So when Chastity exploded in her business, I was super excited. Like it was so fun, like, oh my gosh, like I'm shouting her out for things I haven't done yet, but this is so awesome, like that kind of thing. And I will tell you the one thing that Maria said to me, because I'm talking to her when I was kind of like, oh, well, now she's heading 200K and I'm not yet at 40K. Like I kind of had a moment, but I'm talking to Maria and she was like, girl, you found that rock star, just go find another one. And in that moment, y'all, I was encouraged and I was like, kind of like shoulders back. I was like, you're right. I did. I'm going. Like, and it was just that quick and that simple. And I was like, okay, well, what did I do to find Chaz? I just shared Thrive with as many freaking people as possible. So I kept doing that, right? I didn't change. I didn't focus on this, I'm gonna red line, like I didn't ever do that because it's not a bad thing. Okay. And so like all I had to do was go find more people to thrive. And I just kept sharing. So I will say that, and we did as a team, unred-legged, balanced, we hit 200K in 4 months. I did do cartwheels on the beach in Galveston, Texas. I did send that video to Maria. I was like, OMG, it just happened. So that was very much because that's who I am. I'm literally like a small child sometimes. So
Well,
anyway,
I
excited.
think that's great. And I think people need to hear that because I have a lot of people that are red-legged on my team. And honestly, you guys, I have one person on my team that's a brand promoter that literally has had millions of dollars run through their organization. All right. They literally, I think maybe had hit 4K one time, and they never worked their business otherwise. And kind of glad that they don't order that very often. But just being honest, like, it's true. I mean, it can happen to anybody, but you have to look at it as like, this is a huge blessing, that you do have this one leg that's like gigantic and running and doing the thing, because now you just got to go out and find somebody else that wants it just as badly, and somebody else that can be excited about it. And you can't just go and think like, oh, well, I'm only going to search for the people that want to, like, want the business, because some of your best customers are going to hit a place in their life that they're going to see you sharing
Right.
about the opportunity, and they're going to turn from customer to promoter, and they're going to make some of the best promoters because they've already fallen in love with the product. So,
Well, and yeah, and that may happen later. I actually have a customer that is going through divorce that now is like, all right, like, one, I got some negativity off my back, and two, I kind of need to get some supplemental income going on. So yeah, you totally never know. And that is one thing I would say, is to continue sharing about the business as well. Share about both. So like you've heard Maria say, in your stories, one product, one business post in your stories every single day. I will also encourage you not to only post in your stories. Make sure that you're also sharing in your actual feed, in your post, because there are people that they don't know what stories are. They don't search stories. They don't watch stories. They only see your feed. And so that was pretty eye-opening when I did a poll about that not too long ago. So remember to sprinkle Thrive everywhere, all the wheres.
well, and
Oh, go ahead.
Amber, I'm glad you said that, because some people are utilizing other platforms. Okay. And something I realized, and this is so stupid that I realized it. Um, I started really growing my business in network marketing on Instagram, in back in 2013, 2014. Okay. And I literally posted about what I did back then. That was my first year, um, all the time. And I signed customers all the time. All right. I did an evaluation of my social media profiles, right? And I told Tim, I said, oh my gosh, I have not shared my before and after. I haven't shared my Thrive testimony on my actual wall. I had been sharing it in my stories, but I hadn't shared it in Reels. I hadn't shared it on TikTok. I hadn't shared it on my actual post on Instagram at all. And I was like, whoa. Like, it was like, how could I know that I need to do that and not do that? Well, guess what? If you don't tell people about it, if you're not reaching people about it, you guys, like Emma just said, not everybody's going to be in stories. Not everybody's going to look in reels. Some people still scroll the good old, just the news feeds,
Just the
right?
Facebook feed, because you got friends that aren't on all these other things, and they're just scrolling. They're scrollers. That's it. And so, okay, I want to move forward though really fast, because I do want to touch on, like, skip forward 6+ years. But I will say one thing that Jason Camper said early on in this business, for me in this industry. He said, you are going to have people that quit. You're going to have people that have life happen. You're going to have people that hit the top of the company and quit or leave. And I remember I had already hit 200K. And I remember sitting there, and I'm sure my face was like horrible, because I was like, but why? Like, why? Why? Like, I mean, I knew where we were at. We were getting out of debt really freaking fast with our 200K. And I just remember thinking, why would you do that? Why would you leave? Whatever. But it did prepare me, because he said, you always have to be in phase one. You always have to be in that new growth mindset. You can never get complacent. You can never just be like, ooh, I've hit residual income and here we are. Like, you have to always be working. You have to always be reaching out and finding the next new person. And so I'd always done that. So the first time that a direct to me that was like literally this close to 200K left, while it was devastating, I was prepared, right? Like, I it wasn't just all falling apart because this one person left, because I'd always been in new growth mode. I'd always been in that reach out mode. And so things are going to happen that you cannot control. People are going to leave. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. Because I remember I was crying. I was like, what have I done wrong? Where did I go wrong? How was I a bad leader? Why did she leave me? She didn't leave me. She left the company. Like, she decided to go a different route. And you know what? I've had others do the same thing since then. And it's fine.
Yeah.
Everything is fine. Everything works out.
Well, and I can tell you from personal experience, I mean, I've lost 40Ks, 80Ks, 200Ks multiple times. Okay. And I can tell you that every single time that I have had people take off and leave, and it's happened almost every year, like literally almost every year, we grow bigger and we thrive harder. And it just seems to be what happens. And I think sometimes it's that wake up call and new leaders rise up, and new leaders that maybe kind of stayed quiet or didn't feel comfortable stepping into that role. They rise up and they explode and they bring their gifts to the table. And honestly, it's a beautiful thing. So know that
Yeah.
if somebody does take a different direction, you know, it's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, if they weren't passionate, you guys, it's like trying to keep somebody in a marriage that's no longer there emotionally. All right. If they're checked out, they're checked out. And truly, that just is going to cause like a cancer throughout your team. So it is better for people to, it's okay. It's all right. And I speak from experience with that as somebody that has gone through it literally over the last decade, over and over and over again. And I just love on the people that are still with me along the journey each time it happens. And truly, I know, Amber, you can probably say this as well. It makes a person say, hey, okay, like, well, what made them lose that passion? And you guys, a lot of times people get stuck in management mode. People get stuck in personal development mode. People get stuck in following certain systems and so forth. And the reality of it is that you got to get back to the main thing. And that's what getting people on this product. That's what most of you got started on. And literally, I know that I've been talking to so many people, and that's what, like, we just had some people take a different route, and that was okay. And we're like, all right, well, you know what? We need to get a lot of samples in people's hands, and we need to all come together and get back to the main thing. And that's getting people on Thrive, getting samples out, and focusing on that call last night couldn't have been better. The duplication process, you guys. And I loved when Lindsay Coggin said, because it took me back to my first, like, literally 9 weeks in the business when I hit 200, because I hit 200K very fast. But it was like this. What do I come in and do? And it was like, I remember getting on a call and it was like, go get 2 customers, go get 2 promoters. Okay, great. So I did that. And then it was, okay, now do what? Now what do? Go get 2 more and go get 2 more. Okay, great. So now what do I need to do? You need to get to 4K. And I was like, check marks in my cloud office. And I was like, yes, that's awesome. And then I looked at my VIPs. And I was like, okay, these people just came in. Let's get you going VIP. Let's get you going. And anyways, Lindsay Coggin said it last night. She said every 14 days, she restarts her business. And you guys, you have to think of it like that. And you have to say, you have to be adding to your network. Okay. You have to be interacting with people. I saw over in the questions where somebody said, how do you add to your network? How do you add from groups? You guys, I assigned some of my best customers through things I've been going through my life. When I was going through divorce, I was in divorce groups. When I was going through my gastric sleeve, I was in a lot of gastric sleeve groups. I joined groups based on what I need in my life, parents and teens, different stuff that I'm going through on a personal level. And then I add those people that I connect with within those groups. And then they see my timeline. Like, I literally, they see my timeline. And when they post, just like Chas post all those years ago, and Amber reached out, when they post that something that hits a key, that point that I know I can solve, I reach out to him and say, hey, I saw your post. I don't want to be that person, but, and then I let them know. listen, I can help you, girl,
Right.
if you want it. And that's how I approach it. I don't like cold message people or anything. However, if I know somebody and I know they're always complaining being tired or whatever, I don't think that as a cold message. I'm like, hey, no, I'm addressing something that you're constantly complaining about. I'm here to help you. They can take that or not, right? So like, don't be afraid to continuously add people. And if you're thinking about where to add people from, look back to people you went to school with, look back to people that you worked with, look back to people that you have met over the years. Pull out a memory jogger, doctor's offices, dentist offices,
Right.
people in your hometown, join community pages, volunteer, set up at vendor events. I'm like talking like
Mhm.
some old school here, but I used to, when I got started, my first company was like a party planning company. And I literally was, you guys, I had a party scheduled every single week, and I was setting up for a Working Women's Wednesday every single week, even though I had no time. But I was doing it because I needed it. I set up lead boxes at post office, at little mom and pop stores, and I would give away a free product if people entered into drawings. And that was a great way for me to reach out. And back then, we did not have all these messenger options, and we did not have Zoom. Okay. It
Right.
was like text message for
Well,
everything.
and I'll tell you too, so same as like you're joining groups that pertain to you, relate to you, I'm doing the same thing. And I'm adding people, and I got this from Tommy Tidwell when I went to the Nashville Thrive Summer event and went to that training. He said, like in his Costco group, for example, he's like, when people comment on his own thread or he's involved in somebody, he just immediately goes and friends them. And in that moment, I was like, I have been holding myself back. I've been holding myself back. So I started doing that. I started going in my Moto Mom groups and my college mom groups, all the things. I started going and adding the people I've been interacting with. The minute we start interacting, I go add them as a friend. Planning a trip to Costa Rica. I've made so many friends because of the interaction and comments in posts. And so I'm messaging them personally because I do want this information, right? So I'm adding them as a friend. I'm messaging them personally, and I'm like, hey, what waterfalls did you like the best? Hey, did you like this hanging bridge or that hanging bridge? Hey, I'm looking at staying here or here. What would you recommend? Like, depending on the interaction with the person. Well, here's what's happening. These people are seeing my stuff and they're messaging me. They're reaching out to me about Thrive because they're seeing that I'm a human. Guys, if you didn't see my post yesterday, I posted pictures of me falling off the couch at the selfie world when we were taking content pictures. And because that's me, that's my life, that's what I do is silly, funny stuff, right? So I posted that and I'm getting interaction from a ton of people. And I post those things all the time, right? Like I'll post my real life, like, oh, when you wake up and the office floor is flooded. Like I post real life stuff, but I also don't harp on negativity. So I want to move really fast because we just have like 5 minutes left. But in all of that, I'm adding these new people. I'm also adding their names in my 54321. I'm writing that down every freaking day. And I'm going back and the names that I've added, well, guess what? I'm going to interact with those people. I know somebody commented that they don't see people in their feed. So this is where you be intentional. You go and go to their feed. You go to their page. You start liking things, commenting things, messaging them, etc. Birthdays is a fabulous way to start because it just gets you in the habit of the messages. I will say, and Dustin Wagner said this a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago on this Zoom. He talked about birthday messages and that he's straight out. He's a Thrive birthday message, right? And that's great. I want you to do what's working for you. If you're doing something and it isn't working, just because it's working for somebody else does not mean keep doing it. So one thing I noticed this year for me, when I went back in messages, especially on birthdays, just to kind of reset all my things, people were not responding to me about Thrive on their birthday. Like they just weren't. Like it was solid crickets. It didn't matter what the follow up was. It just nothing. Now I'm literally just birthday messaging people. I'm just telling them happy birthday. I'm just telling them I hope they have a great year or something. I'm not asking them what they're doing. I'm literally just shooting a message. I'm getting back more thank yous or something. I'm getting something back where before I wasn't. So if you're sending Thrive birthday messages and it's working, then keep doing that. But if you're getting crickets, then send them a different message. Like just not a Thrive message, right? Like change it up. I talked the other day on one of the
Yes.
Zooms about a boggle, like, right? You have the boggle. Sometimes you just need to shake it up. Shake up your friends list, shake up the way you send a message. Just shake it up, change it up, do what works for you. Try some different things. But number one, you've got to be adding to your network. You've got to be growing. If you're sharing with the same people over and over and over and over again, they're not ready to thrive with you. Who knows when they will be? And two, your excitement goes down because you're so frustrated and defeated sharing with the same people over and over again. Shake that up, reset your feed, go back, go be intentional on liking other people's stuff, commenting on other people's stuff, go be a human, like their boots, like their jacket. Hey, I love that jacket. Where'd you get it? Y'all, I have like 4 new shackets because I saw this one girl's and I was like, where'd you get that? And she sent me 4 different links. I ordered all 4.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm glad you said that. And I'm glad this is how, like, we're ending the call, you guys. I'll tell you, if you just simply make a rule to go and interact on 10 people's posts, like, comment, whatever, and 10 people's posts intentionally, like Amber said, that are people that you may be interested in working with because you like their vibe or whatever. And that really can fall for any platform. That can be Instagram, that can be Facebook, that can be TikTok, that can be wherever. Okay. If you do that, especially prior to your post and immediately following your post or a live or whatever, you're going to see a gigantic change in your interaction on your post, right? Obviously, you're not just going to want to make sure you're posting Thrive posts. You're also going to want to make sure, but when I say that, if you can sneak in a Thrive post about the products, a Thrive post about the opportunity in some way, shape, or form every single day, along with educating, entertaining, and inspiring people in some matter, I promise you it's going to boost your interaction. I promise you it's going to change your business, but you have to be intentional. If you add 10 people every single day, that's going to be 36. What is it? Like 3,600 people a year. So, like, obviously go through, look at your memories on Facebook. If that's the platform that you use, look at your memories, go through old posts that you did and go and interact with people that interacted with you. And I promise that is a good place to start, at least. Start getting rid of people if your Facebook is full. Start getting rid of people that are just sitting in your friend request folder, getting rid of people that have inactive accounts, stuff like that, and start adding. Okay. I promise it will change your business. So shake it up a little bit.
Last thing really quick is, guys, we are in November. We are coming up on the holidays. You are going to be around people. You better wear your DFT where people see it. And if people are like, oh, you're still wearing that thing, oh my gosh, yes, I'm a better wife, mom, me version. Yes, I'm not eating 3 slices of pumpkin pie. Yes, I've lost 30 pounds this year, like whatever. Yes, why would I ever stop? Like, just be you, be why you thrive. Don't hide it. You don't have to be thriving in a corner. You go share why you still thrive. Like, somebody's trying to take it away from you tomorrow. What are you going to do? Go share your thrive. Go share with your friends and your family. Go be you. Be you. Know that we've got Elite coming. We didn't even talk about Elite. We've got Elite coming. We have massive things launching, guys. You have to continue to share and know why you're here. And I'm telling you, if you would not stop taking your thrive, then you have a reason to be here. And happy
Absolutely.
payday.
Happy payday. Thank you, Amber, so much. I know there were so many things that we could have talked about, but you know what? There's lots of calls right now going on about Elite. So that's okay. We'll follow up next week. Thank you so much, guys. And I hope everybody learned something today. And I will get the recording posted immediately. And I think we're also going to add it to a folder on Team Thrive Nation, right?
Yeah.
Or
Thrive Stars.
Thrive Stars.
Yeah, we'll do a playlist on Thrive Stars.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.